and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 133. It is January 28th, 2015, Wednesday afternoon. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you are a new viewer, welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy. This is a knitting, spinning, and hand-dyeing podcast based out of Brooklyn, New York. Yeah. So grab some tea, coffee, hot chocolate, wine, whatever you fancy, and let's get on with the show. What do I have to talk? I have lots to talk about this week. It's just a matter of what do I want to talk about first. I guess the big news is let's talk about the weather, because here on the East Coast we got hit with a lot of snow. Not as much as we anticipated. There was a state of emergency called out by the mayor, and no cars were, this is, I believe, Monday evening, no cars were allowed. Unless it was an emergency vehicle, no cars were allowed on the street past 11 p.m. And the next day, there was snow on the ground, but it wasn't as bad as we thought. We got maybe 5 to 6 inches of snow, and it's sticking and it's pretty, but nothing catastrophic. It's not a snowpocalypse, which I'm kind of bummed about because I really like using that term, snowpocalypse. But hey, I'm glad everyone's safe and sound, and I hope everyone where you are, you're safe and sound and not buried underneath a pile of snow. If you are, just let me know. I might be able to come help you dig out. Maybe not. But anyway, I hope you're all good. Oh gosh. All right. So yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, which is where I primarily post photos, and I'm not really in the Twitterverse anymore, but on Instagram I've been posting photos of the snowfall and everything like that, in case you're curious. I took a field trip up to our roof deck, and there were massive icicles just dangling, and only in the country have I seen icicles that big. But anyway, I digress. Let's get on to knitting and spinning and all that fibery fun stuff. So before I get into what's off my needles and on my needles and all that good stuff, let me do a recap of the fiber arts, of the panel that I was a part of this past weekend. If you're not familiar, I discussed last week that I was going to join a panel for the Brooklyn Fiber Arts Guild. Me, Maria of the Subway Knits podcast, Marcia of One Geek to Craft Them All, and Sarah from the blog Knit York City, we were all invited to join a panel to discuss yarn crafting and blogging at the Brooklyn Public Library if you're not familiar where Prospect Park is in Brooklyn, it was at the New York Public Library, like right across the street from there. Really pretty. I've actually the building is beautiful. I've never been inside. But yeah, it was really fun. I had a really good experience. And as I mentioned, I've never been part of a panel before. I'm not the greatest public speaker. Granted, I think I've gotten over my fear of public speaking long ago, but this was a very good experience. But as I mentioned, I met so many wonderful fiber artists and knitters, and all looking to start up their own blogs and podcasts, or just at least interested in it. And we all just, it was definitely a learning experience for me, because I got to hear, about tactics from the blogging perspective of it, and it went on for about 3 hours, and we were asked questions about how blogging and podcasting, how that all blends together, and how it's changed the world of yarn crafting and knitting and spinning, because it really is amazing. It's just, as I mentioned, is it any wonder why every year Rhinebeck or Vogue Knitting Live just keeps expanding and getting busier and busier? No, I pretty much attribute that to social media and Ravelry, and it was just a very insightful conversation that we had. Maria of the Subway Knits podcast actually recorded the whole conversation, so if you're curious, I'm not sure when she's going to be posting it, but you may be able to catch up on her blog and see what we talked about, and just maybe a couple of clips, because I think to post the entire panel would be a little ridiculous, but maybe some highlights she'll post. But one of the questions that popped out that has been kind of going on in the back of my mind One person who attended asked if each of us, do we consider ourselves process knitters or product knitters? And I've always been wondering that, but I think when I was there, I was kind of forced to just see like how I would answer that question to a whole audience of people. There is no right or wrong way to answer that. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but I think when when I answered, I pretty much said it really depends. Some days I'll be in the mood to knit, like I'll see a pattern and I'll want to cast it on immediately, and I'll do that just to get to that end product because I want to wear the object. Whereas I will be in a mood to just knit lace because I enjoy the rhythmic process of knitting lace, or I'll just be burnt out and want just to knit miles and miles of garter stitch. So I don't really consider myself specifically a product or a process knitter. It really depends on my mood. So that was an interesting revelation to me. So, but yeah, other than that, I got to meet, as I mentioned, I met so many wonderful people. I sold some yarn there, and it was just, really awesome. So would I do it again? Yes, I would. I think I have to work on my vocalization, because the one thing that really hindered us was that there was no microphones, and none of us had personal microphones to carry our voices, and we're all very soft spoken except for Maria. She's a teacher by nature, so she vocalized, but yeah, the rest of us, I think we were kind of like, everyone kept saying louder, louder, and yeah, so but that's pretty much it. And so, okay, now that I have updates all out of the way, let's get on to what's off the needles. Because I have something off the needles. Nothing epic or anything, but I do have some socks. Whoa. Okay, hang on. I finally finished my sleep season socks. Yay! So these, as I've been mentioning every week, is the yarn from Sleep Season that I purchased at Gauge Intention from the launch party. Excuse me. In the Gauge colorway. So Sleep Season actually dyed a colorway named after Gauge Intention. And I will not go directly to neon colors, but I do like it when they mix neutrals and neons together. So it kind of tones the neon down a little bit, and I really love the way these turned out. So I'm thinking I may not go full force into Operation Sock Drawer or anything. I might start off small. I'm thinking Operation Shoebox. I think that's more attainable, like knowing myself. I'm going to try and see how long it takes me to fill a shoebox full of hand knit socks. And these are probably going to be the first ones to go in there. I'm not even going to wear these until I have like a whole shoebox full of socks. But yeah, again, these are my my favorite sock pattern that I wrote up, and cuff down, reinforced heel, and basic heel turn, and then Kitchener stitch toes. If that will allow me to focus. It's not going to let me focus, but if you remember, the ribbing on these are totally different. So I did a basic knit one, purl one ribbing on these, and then for some reason in my brain I thought, oh, I'll do knit one, knit through the back loop, knit one, knit through the back loop. So I'm the one that's going to be wearing these, so I'm not bothered by it at all. So yeah, that's off the needles. Yay! I still have other socks on the needles, but many of you were contacting me about my qualms about the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I mentioned that last week. I downloaded the pattern, but it was such a long written pattern. Like, I believe it's 8 pages long. I don't remember, but anyway, it was just so daunting to me that I was like, I don't know, like, I have to do a cutout of my foot and then trace it. I don't know. It just, at that point in time, I was just like, no, I'll come back to it at some other point. But many of you emailed me or contacted me and said, you don't have to do that. You can just follow the pattern as it's written. Don't do the cutout heel. Don't do the cutout foot or anything. It's self-spoken. And many of you gave me like such great tips and pointers on how to do it. So I think that is going to be my next the next sock that I cast on will be the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. So stay tuned for that. I don't know what yarn I'm going to be casting on for socks next. I have a couple of ideas in mind, but right now I have a lot of socks on the needles, like lots of hose. I got lots of hose. So I'm going to work my way through those before hose and those. I'm going to work my way through that with those socks before I cast on any new socks. Although certain schemes are calling out to me like, cast me on. I want to be a sock for you. So we'll see. Okay, so today's mug is my parents-in-law, my mother-in-law and father-in-law will love this, and I know they're watching, so hi, I know you're watching. But they will really appreciate this. I am drinking out of my Moody's Diner mug that me and Dennis got when we were in Maine last. I think it was like 3-4 years ago that we drove up to Maine. Oh gosh, that was a long time ago. But yeah, we did a trip up to Maine one summer, and Dennis took me to Moody's Diner, which if you have not been, you must go. They make the best peanut butter cream pie. And I don't like pie. I don't like sweets. I really don't. And one to two like bites of this was good enough for me, but they make a good peanut butter pie. I'm just saying. It's a really cool diner. But yeah, I got us both a Moody's Diner mug, and I love it. And the tea I actually got was, oh gosh, it's like a honey lavender. It's yogi tea, but it's like a honey lavender flavor that I just got today. I can't even remember it because they were all out of my licorice spice tea. Very disappointed. But yeah, this was my backup line. So, but it's really good. I taste a hint of lavender, but it's more so minty chamomile. I was a little disappointed, but it's still good. It's really good. So there's that. On the needles, we've got stuff on the needles, of course. What do I want to show you first? Okay, so as you know, last week I revisited the Whispering Pine shawl by Molly of A Homespun House. She designed the pattern, and I cast this on using other yarn, and it wasn't really jiving, so I set it aside. But then I revisited it. I dyed up some yarn that I fell in love with. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it again. And it's a lovely pattern. But here's how far I am with it. And this is my Jilted Rose colorway. It's a very soft, muted, dusty, grayish pink mauve. No surprise there. And it's on my Volca base. Volca, which means cloud in German. And it's a 4-ply merino nylon cashmere, so it's super soft, and I really just love the way it's knitting up. And I actually had to stop myself from knitting on this way too much because, as you know, if you're not familiar, the pattern is going to have like a lace edging to it. And I've been watching the TV knitting podcast with Sharon, aka Stitch Mistress, and she knits a lot with beads. And as I was knitting this, I'm like, you know, this would look beautiful with a beaded lace edging. So I ordered some beads. They're going to be pink, kind of like smoky glass beads that I'm going to knit into the lace. So I'm holding back a little bit before it, but yeah, I made a lot of progress on this, and I'm kind of surprised at myself. I was very monogamous, and it's a really relaxing knit. And again, I'm using my Clover, my Takumi US 6 Clover needles. They're 4.0 millimeter. And it really, like, these actually are very enjoyable to knit with bamboo. Or this yarn is very enjoyable to knit with the bamboo. So I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. So here's the skein. I believe there's 463 yards in this, which is a lot. So perfect for knitting lace. So there's that. And then, so as you know, I cast on the Dots shawl, which is this pattern right here, with US 6 Clover bamboo needles. And I was having the worst time knitting on it because of the needles that I was using. They were bamboo, and the pattern, which is by Casapinka, a lovely pattern, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. It was just the needles that I was using. I I was having a miserable time. And for some reason, I only have US 6 bamboo needles and metal needles from Boy and Clover. Go figure. Why I did not invest in better needles for myself in US size 6. I don't know. Go figure. But yeah, so Molly of A Homespun House, she's amazing. I opened my mailbox one day and I found a package from her, and she gifted me a whole set of Knitter's Pride Carbon's interchangeable needles. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Molly, you are awesome. Yeah, so I'm speechless. But anyway, yeah, I immediately switched these to the US, what do you call it? These are 4.00 millimeter interchangeables by Carbons. And let me tell you, they knit like butter. Like butter, let me tell you. Oh my God. These are like the best needles ever. And yeah, here's the set. You can see I already got startitis because there are several needles missing. But they come with a key, which many of you have been telling me, pinging me on Ravelry like the high heavens, use the key, use the key. These come with keys, and Molly was like, you must use the key. I used the key. The screwy things have not budged. These are freaking awesome. So, but yeah, these go up from size 3.00 millimeter all the way to, I believe my metric system is off, but these go all the way up to 6 millimeters. So I think they go from a size 2 all the way up to a size 10. So, but this is so awesome. Molly, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh. I was really surprised, and I highly recommend these. Yeah, so yay. I have needles that are awesome. So, but yeah, I've just been knitting away on this, and I will admit, while it's a great pattern, the rows with the little bobbles here, the little dots, it's very slow going. It takes me at least 45 minutes to knit one row of bobbles, even though the needles are working with it. It's just to create the little knots. It's not the most, it doesn't really have a rhythm to it. You have to stop, and it takes me about a minute to make one little bobble thing. It's a little ridiculous, but at least the needles are going through. But yeah, again, the pattern's by Casa Pinka, and it's lovely, and I highly recommend it. The yarn, again, that I'm using is my yarn that I hand-dyed. The gray is on my Nouveau base, which is a single ply, in the Poe colorway, which is a lovely light gray with lavender undertones, and then I'm using Fairy Hair, which is a variegated, kind of like purpley pink colorway. On my Blitz base. So it has like that nice soft gray background, but then like these little sparkly pink pops of pink coming through. So I'll just show you. There you go. You like it? Come on. Come on, camera. Pretend the yarn is a face. There we go. Okay. So there's that. What else? Oh my gosh. Okay. Microphone is okay. So yeah, that was a very awesome surprise. And also because, as I mentioned, I got a nasty case of startitis. I couldn't help casting on a Cozy Memories blanket. Like Molly also. Oh my gosh. I feel like everybody, like Yarnder Woman's casting on a Cozy Memories blanket. Who else is? I feel like a lot of people are knitting on these, but they're great. They're perfect for scrap. The leftover scrap yarn that I have that I have left over from knitting socks. I have lots of those. So yeah, here's where I am. Yeah, I've been busy, and I'm on the 9th square. And I really like the way this is knitting up. This is actually, I think Cozy Memories is a name that Molly came up with, but the actual pattern is a mitered square scrap yarn blanket. I will post a link for it. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, but you knit one square and then you pick up all the stitches on one side and then you cast on another couple of cast on however many stitches on your needle, and then it just kind of like unfolds on itself, which is really cool. And again, I'm using US size 4 millimeters, which is oh no, I'm sorry, US 4 needles, which is 3.5 millimeters on my cardigans, and I cast on 40 stitches, so it's a 40 stitch cast on, and then you divide that in half, and then you make decreases, 2 decreases every other row in the middle, and it creates like this awesome like garter slash in the middle. And if you see that, come on. There you go. Camera. There you go. And then as you knit, it just kind of creates like this nice diagonal pattern effect going down the middle. So over here I have, I'll just go through it, yarn that I had left over from these Lorna's laces in their shepherd sock weight, zombie barbecue. Socks that didn't really pan out, so I frogged the socks. I don't know why, I just never ended up finishing them. Go figure, but I have all this yarn left over, and I really love the colorway. So this is Zombie Barbecue. This is yarn that I have left over from Julie Spins. I think the colorway was called Fjord, and it was leftover yarn that I had from my, what is it, Bird's Nest? Oh gosh, I can't remember it. Raven's Nest shawl. Raven's Nest shawl by one of my favorite designers, Judy Marples. I used some of my fairy hair yarn on my Blitz base that I'm using with my Dots shawl. And this is Fiber Nymph. This is a bonus bump of yarn, or a mini skein that I rescued from Kim's D-stash. And I really, oh my gosh, this colorway, I'm smitten with it. And I was looking for it on our website, and she only has it in DK. But I kind of want to, this is her, I think, lavender colorway. And I kind of want to get it in, like, with another complementary color and knit it up with something else, like kind of like a stripe thing to tone it down, because it's very bright. But I really love the blue undertones to it. But yeah, I have enough left over to maybe make another square. So there's that. And then Mad Hat, this is Blue Moon Fiber Arts, Socks That Rock, leftover yarn from my Hermione's Everyday Socks. In the Mad Hatter colorway. This is actually some hand spun that I spun up on my Golding spindle. So yeah, it's a little, you can tell it's hand spun. It's a little chunky, but it's actually the first ply on the fly yarn that I spun up ever, and I really like the way it turned out. But then I used some what is it, Dream in Colors Smooshy left over to finish the square. And this is Fat Tuesday by Jinx Yarns. And she actually just posted, coincidentally, the day after I finished knitting this square, she updated her shop with more Fat Tuesday self-striping yarn in her shop. So yeah, she only does it like once a year or whatever, but it's a really fun colorway. It's, you know, for Mardi Gras and whatnot. This is Dream in Color Smooshy, leftover yarn from my Color Affection shawl. And then I'm blanking on the name of this one, but it's a really pretty teal. And this is Socks That Rock, lightweight. And again, I'm forgetting the name of the colorway, but it's really cool, like teal, pink, mauve, and spring green. And this is leftover sock yarn from when me and Dennis went to the Bahamas on vacation, and I knit a pair of socks there. I think that's it for what I have right now, but you know, I really like it, and it's very addicting, and I can bang out like a square in under 30 minutes. It's just a matter of realizing where I have to cast on the next square, otherwise it gets all wonky. So you gotta cast on from the right angle. But I highly recommend it if you have a lot of sock yarn. It makes for a good scrappy, you know, blanket. It's definitely a long-term project, but I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, there's that. Then what else? I think, so clearly I have a lot of startitis this week. I also have on the needles some self-striping socks. These are my Regia self-striping socks that I purchased. And I'm using DPNs. I'm still liking it, although I am getting ladders, and I know there are things I can do to eliminate those ladders. And this is the Lake colorway, and I really, really like the way it's coming out. You can't even see it. I probably should have used better contrasting yarn, but this is where the Afterthought heel is going to be in. It's like a dark green color. Only I can probably see it, but the sparkle helps. So yeah. But yeah, I know there are certain things I can do to eliminate ladders on here by rotating where the needles are, but I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. Again, I'm the only one knitting on them, and yeah, so I'm not going to be very anal about that. But yeah, so I don't know. I have to try. These are they feel very sturdy, and they feel like socks that are going to last and last and last. I guess I'm just so used to like knitting with soft yarn, but I heard that once you try the socks on, it makes all the difference. Like you never want to knit with another pair you never want to knit with any other sock yarn ever again. I don't know. I'll be the judge of that when I try them on. But yeah, otherwise I really love the colors. They're super. It's in the skein. It looks super bright, but knit together, I really like. Again, like when bright colors are paired together with more toned down, like muted natural colors, it really brings it down. So you have this lime green and bright cyan, like the coral pink and the purple, like really, and like this really pretty sea green, like really brings down the loudness of like the individual colors. So there's that. Oof. Okay, so what else do I have to talk about? Okay, despackle. Wow, I feel like I'm talking a lot this episode. But yeah, like as I mentioned, I'm definitely going to give the Fish Lips Kiss heel a try the next time I cast on something. So that's all that I have on the needles, thankfully. Although I do want to cast on some other things. I am eyeing some patterns. I don't know. I'm going to try and just get a couple of other things off the needles first. Although I have not put a dent in Dennis's cardigan. Why? I don't know. Again, like I had all that knitting mojo to get me through like the sleeves and the joining and everything, and now it's like another, I don't know. It's like another arm and a leg, no pun intended, to get through the raglan decreases. I don't know. And then the button band. Oh, the button band's gonna be fun, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe next week I will dedicate a lot of time to knitting on his cardigan, because I really want to have it finished. I want to have it finished. I know I keep saying that. I do. Okay, so let's talk about the despackle. Yay! Where's my bag of despackleness? What did I do with it? Hello. Hang on. Okay. Here we go. So I am surprisingly making a lot of headway on my fiber. I have actually crossed over into the second color change. So as you know, let me see. Here's the first skein that I wound off of my, it's ply on the fly, so it's like a Mach 3 ply. This is about an ounce of fiber that I spun on my Spanish peacock. And then here's the second one that I spun or wound off my. Again, I did not skein these the same way, but again, like these are about like an ounce each. So I'm about like 2 ounces into it. So I'm making a lot of progress, and then I've crossed over into the mauve part of the bat. So I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, it's coming along. So I have like all these little fibery turtles that I've balled up. I don't know what you want to call them, but yeah, it's really pretty. So pretty, pretty, pretty. And again, here we go. Sorry for all the rustling. It's my life is so disorganized behind the camera over here. I need shelving. So yeah, here's the loop bat, what I have left. I think I have like about 3.5 ounces left. So yeah, it's a center pull. So, and it's loop, and the colorway is violets, and it's merino, nylon, and Angelina. So, yay, that's where it is. And again, if you feel like it's still not too late to join the Despackle. There's a Ravelry, there's a thread, a chatter thread and a non-chatter thread. If you just want to join for fun and see what everybody's working on and comment on projects, please do that in the chatter thread. And then if you want to join in, if you want to enter to win a prize, we have a prize from very generous prizes from Aaron Makes Stuff. They are donating a drop spindle, and the Fawn and the Fox is donating a beautiful hand-printed tote bag, hand-printed and hand-sewn. So it's everything handmade. So yeah, definitely join in for that. And remember, 1 post per person if you are entering to win a giveaway prize. Yeah, so there's that. And then what else did I want to mention? But yeah, it's again, like not too late to join, especially if you're a beginner. Lots of beginners joining the Despackle. So yeah, and again, I'm really enjoying seeing what everyone's posting and keeping up with you guys. And what else? I know there's something else I wanted to mention. If not, I'll put it in the show notes. But that's about it. So yay, really lots of fun. And then that's pretty much all the spinning I've been doing all week. Oh, no. I did do a little, like nothing to write home about, but I did do a little spinning on my Lendrum, which is back there. Because I missed like spinning on my wheel, but not too much at all. I mean, like I didn't do too much spinning on it. But otherwise, that's pretty much all the spinning I've been doing. Yeah. What else? Okay. So, just can't get enough. Stuff that I am obsessed with this week. Nothing too much. I mean, what have I been in? No, just podcasts. I mean, I guess I'll just start mentioning what podcasts I've been watching. I have a list. Isabel of Fluffy Fibers podcast, or Kitty Couture. She actually just started video podcasting. You guys, I am loving how everyone is crossing over to video. I mean, not that I don't enjoy audio podcasts and everything. I mean, I love them, but I really just enjoy seeing what everybody's working on. And it was really great to, see Isabel and all her beautiful sewing projects and knitting projects, her hand spun. And oh my goodness, she has the fluffiest kitty I have ever seen. Yeah, you have to check it out. And she's just really wonderful to listen to. Her voice is just so soothing, and I really look forward to catching up with her. And she's based in France. I believe she's from the south of France. But yeah, she speaks wonderful English. I highly recommend it. Check it out. And what else? Ichigo Abroad. I just jumped on that bandwagon. Everyone has been talking about Ichigo Abroad, and I am horrible. I am so horrible. Because I've heard people talking about Ichigo Abroad on, across the board on podcasts that I've been listening to. However, I thought in my brain, I thought people were calling it itchy girl. Like itchy, scratchy, itchy girl abroad. So I was looking up itchy girl abroad, because it makes sense, right? Itchy, like she must knit a lot of sweaters that happen to be itchy, and she's studying in Japan. But no, little did I know, I discovered it was Ichigo Abroad, because she's a college student and she's studying in Japan. Yeah, Kristen, yeah, okay. That's why I'm a horrible person. Okay. Ichigo Abroad. Definitely check it out. She's lovely, super adorable. I love seeing what she's up to and learning about, like, again, like, I just love seeing, like, learning about cultures and how people knit around the world. It's wonderful. I think, I'm not sure where she's originally from. I think upstate New York. I'm not sure, but she's American studying abroad in Japan, and I love the episodes where she, like every episode, she kind of interjects clips from her mom back in America. I have to backtrack when her mom visited her in Japan. They co-hosted an episode or a couple of episodes together. So I definitely want to catch up on those. But yeah, it's a really sweet podcast. Definitely check it out. What else? Oh yeah, and Tiny Bobbins with Danny. I've always been wanting to mention her on the show because I've been watching her as well. And again, another super relaxing podcast. Like if you just want to chill out, and I know I can be very bubbly on the episode on the show. I'm very energetic sometimes, depending how much caffeine I've had. But yeah, if you just want to chill out and not be energized or anything, just want to relax, definitely check out Danny. She's awesome, and her dog is so cute. I love it when people have like their pets on the show, and because they're just cute. Anyway, Bobbin is his name, and he's always snuggling with her, and she's always knitting really beautiful things as well. And she designs project bags. I believe she has an Etsy shop. It might be Big Cartel. I'll link to it in the podcast. But great podcasts. Highly recommend them. And what else? Oh my gosh. I know I've been mentioning Molly a lot on this episode, but Molly got me hooked on Sprudelsafting. Again, I'm mispronouncing everything wrong, right? Sprudelsafting, which is seltzer and juice. So you mix a little bit of juice with seltzer and you have Sprudelssaft. And I've been telling her that I've been Sprudelsafting a whole bunch this past week. So that's my new thing, Sprudelsafting. So yeah, that's what I'm obsessed with. Not like, but yeah, I got some seltzer, and then to go a little crazy, I got some peach juice, because I love peaches. I don't know how many of you know, but like I can't have fruit with pectin in it. I don't know if I'm allergic or whatever, but anytime I have like peaches, plums, pears, apples, like that kind of granular fruit, my mouth just gets super itchy. But I could have it like after the fruit has been kind of like processed, so to speak, like applesauce. I can have peach juice. I can have as long as it's not in its, unfortunately, as long as it's not in its natural form, I can have it. I don't know why. I think it's the fructose or something. I think Ellie from FO and I was telling her about it, and I think the fructose makes my mouth itch. So I'm just glad that I can have. I love the taste of those fruits like peaches and plums and pears. I love pears. So yeah, I can only have them in like this processed kind of form. I don't even know if you call that processing, but something's been done to the fruit to put it in another state. So I guess that's processed, but not in a chemical kind of way. But yeah, I've just been enjoying the Sprudelssaft with peach juice. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Thanks, Molly. Yeah. So other than that, okay, so it's been a while since I answered a question from the Because You Ask thread, which I'm actually going to change. I don't like Because You Asked. I'm going to change it to Ask Away. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, fiber, knitting related, or podcast related, pretty much anything at all, just go into the thread and ask away. So I'm going to pull a question from there. Half Pass 92 wants to know on Ravelry. Hi, Kristen. I'm a very newbie spinner. My yarn is still thick and thin, but I'm determined. My question for you is, how do you prepare fiber packaged in different ways for spinning on a drop spindle? Does that make sense? Or how do you get your fiber from a center pull bat versus a braid versus a rolag versus something else ready to spin? I want to start building a fiber stash, but I'm nervous about buying fiber when I don't know the best way to get it out of the package and ready to spin. Okay, so I feel like I've answered this question in many different kinds of forms throughout podcasting, but yeah, so when you buy fiber, it can come in many different forms. It can come in the form of a braid, it can come in the form of a rolag. In my case, for the despackle, it comes in the form of a center pull spinning bat. So you just pull and spin right from the bat. In many cases, when you get your fiber in a braid form, you can just pull and spin from there as well. But I think at the end of the day, no matter what fiber you get, pre-drafting is key. So by pre-drafting, I mean pulling the fiber. I'll just do it here. But yes, basically just pulling some fiber from the supply, like so. It can be, this is just for demonstration purposes, but you want to pay attention to staple length and pre-draft. Pre-drafting will make your spinning a whole lot easier, especially if you're new. So pre-drafting is just kind of like pulling it apart, not all the way, but just before the staple length, and just kind of getting that fiber a little bit loose. And by staple length, I mean actually pulling it off, like pulling some fiber away from it. So right now, this is the staple length of that fiber, and this will vary from fiber to fiber. Like Rambouillet will differ from Polworth, or the staple length of Merino will differ from the staple length of Kiviot, obviously Kiviot. But yeah, so this has about maybe like a 4 to 5 inch staple length from tip to tip. So when you're pre-drafting, you're going to realize, okay, I can only pre-draft, so the fiber is about 4 to 5 inches pre-drafted. And then you want to stop there, or even before that, maybe like 3 inches, just to make sure it doesn't totally fall apart on you when you hold it. But yeah, so again, pre-drafting is what you want to do. But depending on whether or not you get a rolag or a fiber bump or whatever, there are many different ways you can prep your fiber. Again, I keep mentioning it every episode, not every episode, but like frequently, I mention that I highly recommend checking out these Craftsy classes. And it might be a little bit advanced, especially if you're a beginner. But if you're serious about spinning, it might be worth the investment, especially since Craftsy always has sales. I would definitely start with JC, definitely start with Fluff to Stuff, hosted by Drusilla Pettibone. I took that when I first started learning how to drop spindle, and she shows you how to draft the fiber. But if you want to get into like different types of like the way fiber comes to you in a braid or rolag, what have you, definitely check out Spinning Worsted to Woolen, hosted by, I want to get her name right because it's a long one, Drafting from Woolen to Worsted by J.C. Boggs Faulkner. And then there's Felicia Lowe, the creator of Sweet Georgia Yarn. She does, spinning dyed fibers. And she will show you how to design, actually, like when you get a braid of fiber, for example, how to design the way you want it to spin up. So if you have like a braid of fiber that starts out blue and gradiates towards pink to yellow, or, whatever you get, or if it's just a mishmash of spotted or speckled fiber, she'll show you how to actually create your own design, like split the fiber apart, break it up into little, or like fractal spinning, which I've never tried yet, but I have yet to try it. But fractal spinning, when you pull the fiber apart, like all these long strips of fiber, and you spin from that, and that creates fractal spinning, or you just pull different chunks out and lay them out in a specific order and spin them that way, or just spin straight from the braid. I mean, it's really up to you what you want to accomplish with your spinning, but definitely check out those two classes. And again, there's Spinning, I'm looking at my screen behind the camera, Spinning Dyed Fibers by Felicia Lowe and Spinning Worsted to Woolen by J.C. Boggs Faulkner. They're great and invaluable classes. I highly recommend them. And they will give you a really good idea of how to, design your spinning. What else? So I hope that helps. But at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to no matter what fiber you have, you always want to pre-draft. And if you have a fiber with a long staple, I I know I purchased I forgot what fiber it is already, but I purchased some fiber from Into the World, and it has a long staple length. And Maria from the Subway Knits podcast, because I've never spun with a long staple length before, Maria says I should recommended that I should spin from the fold, which JC Boggs Faulkner actually covers in that class. She'll show you how to wrap the fiber over your finger and spin, create like a kind of like vortex cone. It's really cool actually, and spin from the fold. So, you know, your fiber doesn't kink up on itself and whatnot. So yeah, I hope you find that really helpful. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but I hope that, you know, just knowing that you can pre-draft will definitely make it a lot easier. So okay, I'm going to move on to shop update stuff. So if you are not interested, I will see you next week. Happy knitting, spinning, and yeah, I'll see you next time. But if not, stick around because I clearly have some shop update stuff to talk about. I did update the shop this Monday. I didn't have a shop update last Friday because of the panel. I was selling yarn there. So whatever I had left over, I updated the shop with on Monday. So this week you will be getting a double whammy of updates because I'm updating the shop again on Friday around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I try to start the updating process by 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's, or no, by 1 p.m. and then hopefully it'll be fully updated by 2 p.m. And I will actually post, if you pay attention in the Etsy shop, at the top of the page it says update underway. And once it's fully updated, I will let you know once it's fully updated. Just to kind of help you guys out and, you know when to, if you see a colorway that you like, you know when to pounce on it or what have you. So yeah, what colorways can you expect? I'm going to be dyeing some more stuff today, but just to give you an idea, I dyed up some more Jilted Rose on my Blitz base and Volca base, I believe. But yeah, this is my ultimate favorite color of the moment. It's just like this beautiful dusty rose, and it's glitter in it. So I will be dyeing up some, I will have more of that in the shop for you this week. And I also have some Dirty on Purpose, which is very popular. So it's like this dark gray brown with brown speckles. And I have some of that on, I dyed Dirty on Purpose up on worsted weight, but for some reason this batch came out a little bit darker. So it will be I'm gonna mark it as a misfit colorway. It's just, I mean, you can't really tell here. It is kind of light. When it was wet, it was a lot darker, but I have to skein these obviously, but I really like the way it turned out. I mean, I like the darker version, kind of almost better than the lighter version, but I kind of like, the original is like the lighter version, but I don't know. I like it when it comes out dark. So I'll put that out there and see, maybe you like the darker version. I don't know. And another colorway that actually did really, really well, that was actually, it turned out to be an oops, I don't know, like one of a kind colorway that I decided actually that I liked it. I like the way it turned out. So I'm making it a regular. And this is Into the Woods. And this is on my Smitten DK base, which is Merino Nylon Cashmere. And it's really soft and squishy. And it's this dark plum with like hints of teal in between. So, and obviously I have to reskein these. These are fresh, dry, like right off the rack. So I've got to process them, if you will. So I have that on DK. And then I have it on my Lush base as well. So you can see it's just a really rich, like plum color, and I really like it. And it did like at the panel, like people loved it, and I was surprised. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make some more. So there's that, and then another colorway that did surprisingly really well was Mexican Hot Chocolate. I dyed up some more on Deco, and I actually want to knit a pair of mittens using this. So it's like, it has like this, it's like this dark reddish brown with like, if you know Mexican hot chocolate, it's hot chocolate with a kick of cayenne pepper in it. So this has like these rich red cayenne undertones, and then over it's like this rich chocolate brown. And I don't like muted areas too, to give it kind of like more of dimension. But yeah, I really like the way it turned out. So there's more of that. And then I dyed it up as well. Did I dye it up on? I'm going to be dyeing some more of it up on my Lush base or some other color, my other bases. Getting it all out. So, and then of course I dyed up some more Wicked on Lush. And there's that. We all know Wicked. And then I dyed up some more. This is a colorway I have not dyed up for a while, but I dyed up some more Myth on my Blitz base and Lush base. So this has sparkle to it. But yeah, it's been a while since I dyed up Myth, and it's just like this really cool light blue with like, I can't describe it. It's very like light cyan, but then it has like these kind of like lavenderish blue overtones. Lots of bluish layering going on here. So there's that, and then okay, there's that, and then what else? Oh yeah. There's some more Mexican hot chocolate on my Volca base, which I'm knitting Molly's Whispering Pine shawl out of. So there you go. And in case you're just tuning in and wondering what these things are, I use them these are my ties when I dye them in the pot. They don't melt or burn or any, well, yeah, if you put them in the fire, yeah, they're gonna melt and burn, but like in the pot, they don't melt at all. It's just basic like wrapping paper ribbon. So, yeah, there's that. What else? Oh yeah, and this color, I don't know, this was like a happy accident. I don't know if I'm gonna repeat this at all, but this is like a really I don't want to say neon, but it's a very vibrant purple blue, which I had a little bit of fun with in the pot. I like it, but I don't know if I'm gonna continue dyeing it at all in the shop. But this is on Volca, so this will be a one-of-a-kind colorway. Then what else do I have? I have in a goodie bag below me. I don't know if I showed this on the podcast last week, but I have Walk the Plank on Nouveau. I have 2 skeins of this, which is that really cool kind of muted sea green aquamarine colorway. And then I have it on Blitzed. I think I showed this to you last episode. I'm not sure. But yeah, I have it there. And then I have Lust Fast, Love Hard on Smitten DK. Some of these are in the shop right now, if you haven't jumped on them. They're there. And there's that. And then, yep, I have Jilted Rose on Smitten DK. And then also on Lush. So, what else? And then, what's this? Moondrop on my Blitz base, which is surprisingly really popular. I don't know. I was surprised. But anyway, it's doing well. It's actually really pretty. I want to cast on with this. I don't know. Oh, yeah. And here's what Into the Woods looks like skeined up. I'm pretty sure I showed this to you last time. But here it is again. And you can see like those flecks of teal and cyan in there. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, okay, I'm probably gonna move on to blather and everything because I'm pretty much done with shop update stuff. But yeah, so kind of like segueing into blather, like I'm really looking forward to finally being able to move and create a workspace that works for me, because right now when I work, I need shelving. I need places to put little bits and baubles that just right now when I work, it just ends up all on my desk and there's no place for anything right now. And I'm just kind of, I need some kind of organization situation here. But yeah, the move. I should talk about that if you're curious. about what's going on in my life right now. So the move update, I guess it's pretty much been really quiet on the Western Front. We've accepted an offer for our place, yay. Now it's all about the paperwork. So we're just waiting for them to sign the contract, and I'm sure they're figuring out their mortgage situation. So the buyers of our apartment. So once that goes through, we can just carry on. I don't know, but then there is a plot twist. There is a really funny twist of fate kind of plot twist that actually just happened. So our neighbor upstairs, she owns the apartment, but she doesn't live there. She rents out. However, she recently let us know, like, hey, I heard you guys are moving. Would you be interested? You know, like, she didn't offer to do it. She's like, oh, I'm actually interested in selling my apartment soon. But I'd be interested to see how yours turns out. So Dennis emailed her back and was like, hey, crazy question to you. We really like our neighborhood. We don't want to move out of the neyborhood, but because you have a bigger space, she has the same exact layout as we do, except it has another floor with just like, it has another room, but on another floor. So it's kind of like there's stairs leading up to another room, which is pretty freaking awesome. So Dennis posed the question to her, like, hey, how much are you selling your apartment for? And would you be interested in selling to us ASAP? Turns out she is. So there's a little bit of a conundrum. Yes, we'd have the convenience of moving into our apartment, like moving into the same layout that we have, but plus that extra room, which would save us, which would be awesome, just awesome. Granted, we had an accepted offer at another place in another neighborhood, like very close to Greenpoint, but it's a whole house. Plus, with the option of renting out another floor below us with a whole big yard. Yeah, so it's kind of like a weird, tough decision that me and Dennis are faced with right now. I mean, the obvious answer is take the house, because it would be in the same price range, plus we'd have the extra income from the renter. But at the same time, if we could just have an extra room and stay in a neighborhood that we really know and love, then that's another bonus. And we can do it. It's just, house, apartment, house, apartment. I don't know. And then I'd be stuck with the same sized kitchen, but we would renovate it eventually, but not immediately. Decisions. I don't know, but I think we're leaning towards the house. I'm kind of leaning towards the house. The kitchen is beautiful. It has an island. I don't know. But yeah, so it's kind of touch and go right now. And because of the weather, I think people are a little behind on paperwork and stuff like that. So it's kind of at a steadfast, like a hold right now. But hopefully things should pick up by the end of the week. So anyway, yeah, that's where we are right now. And yeah, so other than that, we've just been, hanging out, watching movies. What did we watch recently? We watched 300 with Rise of an Empire with Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, if you're not a fan. And what's her name? Ava Green. So really good movie. Lots of blood, lots of gore if you like that stuff. And what else did we watch? Oh, we watched that movie Blended with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. I think I used to love Adam Sandler movies. He's hilarious, and Dennis is like a huge Adam Sandler fan. But I think he's kind of lost his edge. I don't know. I'm going to put it out there. His movies just aren't the same anymore. And Drew Barrymore, I love her. But yeah, it was cute. I'll put it at that. I had a couple of funny moments and stuff like that. But at this point, it's like any Adam Sandler movie that comes out is kind of like Grown Ups. What a horrible movie. I don't know. That was really bad. Anyway. Yeah, that's what we've been watching. I cannot wait till Game of Thrones and Outlander come back on the air. Those are my ultimate favorites. I love them. Yeah. So anyway, I'm babbling again. So yeah, other than that, I'm out of words. So that said, have a great week, everybody, and I will see you next time. Happy knitting. Bye.